Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 24th day of September 2024. As we all know, today, tomorrow, and next tomorrow, Nnamdi Kanu will be appearing in court, in Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja for his charges of terrorism filed against him by the federal government. So much is expected in these 3 days. Why some popular opinion are saying that the federal government are not bent to releasing him. Some persons are also saying that there is an intel that the federal government want to release him in March next year, that some group of persons asked the federal government not to release him. But for me, in my own personal opinion, the judge, the Bintanyako, the judge of the Federal High Court there, handling Nnamdi Kanu case, the woman wants to finish up the case in these 3 days. So what it means is that in these 3 days, Nnamdi Kanu's court case, everything about it will finish unless federal government or Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer wants to appeal the judgment. Yeah, if they want to appeal the judgment, that maybe they don't like the judgment that Bintanyako is going to pass. But however, I'm still optimistic that if Bintanyako frees Nnamdi Kanu in these 3 days, I don't see any reason why federal government should file appeal against it if Nnamdi Kanu is released, because it's going to bring crisis. That is the one angle. But if they did not free Nnamdi Kanu, according to the popular opinion, not my opinion anyway, I think Aloy Jimako will still file, appeal against the judgment, of which appeal court has, discharged the case before. But if they free Nnamdi Kanu and federal government file appeal against it, it's going to bring crisis. Meaning, these people, they were not really just trying to prosecute this man, meaning the thing that everyone has been saying, that Nnamdi Kanu's detention is based on where he comes from, whom he is, and his mission to liberating his people. So I think in these 3 days, people should expect that this man will be freed. The freedom of Nnamdi Kanu, people don't take it to be necessary. But for me, I think it's very important. Apart from solving insecurity challenges in the Southeast, which is one of the problems facing the region, I also think that the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu is sacrosanct. Like when Omoyonde Sowore was detained in Abuja, I think up to 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3 years or 2 years. A lot of things were going wrong because people are afraid to do the same thing he was doing, which was legal. Now, self-determination, asking for a referendum has never been a crime in every part of the earth. So it will not start from Nigeria here. I'm optimistic that this man will be free, and that is what everyone is also wanting to hear. Unless those people who want people to continue to die, because as far as I'm concerned, people are committing crime in the name of Nnamdi Kanu. People are committing crime and they are saying they are IPOBs. People are committing crime in different kind of names just to indict Nnamdi Kanu. Of which I'm telling people that if this man comes out and according to his word, it is going to be over. So many things that people thought that he is one doing is going to be over. And secondly, the federal government have been thinking that Nnamdi Kanu was the one carrying out insecurity, all those things. Then, ever since he was arrested, he was abducted, let me use that word. If the insecurity did not reduce, it's an indication that, this man is not guilty. So if arresting him did not stop what you thought he was doing, it's an indication that he was not part of those things. That is a part. And secondly, the other day, I published the video of Ozodema when he was saying that most of the insecurity in the Southeast is because of political bitterness, that people are politically bitter, as in people are having a bitter heart because of political differences, and they are the ones sponsoring insecurity. I'm not the one that said it. Ozodema said that. So in the midst of all these things from around the country, we are aware of people sponsoring insecurity, sponsoring banditry, sponsoring all those things. The federal government is not finding terrorism charges against them. They are bent on finding terrorism charge against Nnamdi Kanu. If you don't understand what I said, listen to Ozodema. He said that what is going on in the Southeast is because of what politicians are doing. In other words, Ozodema indirectly is saying that Nnamdi Kanu is not the reason why, or the causes of insecurity, or the sponsor of insecurity in the South is but the politicians. Listen by yourself.
So we took personal interest to begin to investigate the reason behind this. I told you times without number in Imo State, some of the cases of banditry here are politically contrived. Some are the real attacks by bandits. So I think that the kind of politics with bitterness that is going on in the state and some part of this region should really be condemned. And that is why we have decided to embark on both kinetic and non-kinetic approach. We've engaged the community leaders, we've engaged the vigilante approach, we've engaged people into dialogue, getting traditional rulers to embark on reconciliation, address the political grievances of some politicians who have not been able to manage the defeat or losses they got from the last election. So, but we are on it. I think we are getting close to a final solution to the issue of banditry and kidnapping and all these sorts of crimes in Imo State.
So, I mean, you mentioned, a few times we've spoken about this in an interview with us here. You said that some of these things are politically backed. And for tonight, we would like you to clarify to us. You've mentioned bandits, sometimes unknown gunmen, terrorists. What exactly are the major issues here in Imo State? Is it the case of bandits linked to the northwestern region of the country, or terrorists, the Boko Haram that we see in some parts of the country, or the unknown gunmen that are peculiar to the southeastern region, or in Imo State, it's just pure politics and brigandage that is involved here?
Well, all these jargons came from people like you, whether they are called unknown gunmen, whether they are called bandits, whether they are called armed robbers or kidnappers. The fact still remains that the common denominator is that people are being killed, assets are being destroyed, violence is being encouraged. So all we are saying, even the Nigerian military has decided even to reform their curriculum to now bring experts that will now teach our soldiers, our security agencies of this modern kind of crime that was not here before this time. So everybody, we were all taken on our ways. But the good news is that we have risen to the occasion. So we are now going to address the issues. One thing we've not gotten from 1999 to today is how to manage political defeats. Our democracy is highly threatened because of that. People are not doing politics with the spirit of sportsmanship as it is practiced in other climes. People are so bitter when they're not able to have their way. And they can go to any length to make sure that individual interests or personal interests are achieved. But I think that gradually we are coming to terms with the realities of the time.
Now, I mean, when you say this in Imo State, the peculiarity is about politics of bitterness. Have you been able to come around to those who are perhaps behind all of these? Maybe identify the players or the perpetrators or those behind it. Have you been able to do that? When you say that you are coming to a very point to solving it permanently, what exactly do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that the investigation in some of these cases have gotten to advanced stage. And what you want to get tonight may not be possible because some of these matters are still being investigated by security agencies. By the time they come up with their final reports, it will be made public to all of us. And that time, you may be able to know the identities of some of those behind the banditry in Imo State.
Okay. So maybe we can call the ones in Imo State political banditry, isn't it? Maybe that jargon might be correct to identify the problem, because sometimes, as I say, politics is local. Maybe some of the situation in Imo State is also peculiarly local. Let me ask you, Governor, the vigilantes and the Ebuka. How much of that has been able to help in securing Imo State or helping? We saw what happened in Ondo State. Those that have criticized the vigilantes and the Ebuka in Imo State, what is going on? Is this underhandedness, or how are you identifying some of their excesses such that innocent people are not being unnecessarily harassed or killed in the process?
Ebuka is a vigilante group in Imo State. And how do you become a member of Ebuka? The community leaders, through their town union and traditional rulers, submit names of young men and women willing to help with the services of vigilante arrangement that Imo State government created. It is a product of a legislation. There is a law backing Ebuka by Imo State House of Assembly. And the approach is to get communities to be involved, collect intelligence, and then hand this intelligence to security agencies. And the Ebuka has no sophistication, like the kind of rifle, the kind of gun that the bandits are carrying all along. Ebuka they are not armed. Ebuka is a vigilante arrangement who, when they see unusual movements, they pick it up and they report to security agencies to work with. So it's not as if it's a kind of a security force that goes to war or that can kill or that or that. So I am saying that those who are not interested in having a peaceful atmosphere, a peaceful environment in Imo State are those that are criticizing Ebuka. Some of these bandits are now operating as Ebuka. Of late, we discovered that bandits will attack a particular place. And the next thing, because they have their syndicate, the next thing you will see, they come up with a propaganda. Ebuka have attacked. But between me and those who are in charge of Ebuka and the security agencies, they know that Ebuka doesn't have the capacity to attack men with sophisticated arms. So that is why the political undertone of the criminality in Imo State is gradually being unraveled. And at the end of the day, we'll come to town with the real story. So it is not about Ebuka.
Perhaps, yeah. So let's perhaps wrap up on the issue of the internal security in Imo State. All right. So, and I'd like to ask, how many of those members of Ebuka, the vigilantes, do you have in Imo State? Like your colleague governor in Benue State, who is requested to the president that the local vigilantes that are set up in that state should be armed. Would you also be considering that Ebuka and the vigilantes in Imo State should carry arms?
I'm a parliamentarian, and right from the my days in the Senate, we have always gone against arming individuals that are not trained to be armed. So if we're going in Imo State, I'm not talking about Benue because I don't know the situation in Benue. If we're going in Imo State, I'm not going to arm them. Rather, Ebuka should do collaborative contribution and work with security agencies who are sufficiently armed by government. You know, the provision of security, like the police, like the army, like the Navy, like the Air Force, is under the exclusive list. So as a federating unit, I don't know where I will get the mandate or the statute that will enable me to procure sophisticated arms to give to local people like Ebuka members who have not been trained. So you don't assault to an injury.
All right, let's move into politics quickly. But before we do that, the usual weekly stay at home, how is that working out in your state? Is it dowsing out or is it still there?
Well, if you come to Imo, there is nothing called sit at home anymore. But people are going about their businesses. People are going about whatever they want to do. Of the workers go to work, traders go to do their businesses. We have been able to encourage and support our security officers to occupy the space and ensure that the people are protected. There may be pockets of cases here and there in Imo State at the Ashtags, but with time, I'm sure those things will be over.
Is there anything like the wave of obedient movement in your state? Because what we are hearing is that political movement that is going to affect the southeastern region of the country and the 5 states. Those who belong to the obedient movement, the Peter Obi supporters, are saying, look, they will take the 5 states of the southeast 100%. Those are some of the political permutations of those who are supporting Peter Obi. Is that fever catching Imo State? You are the leader of APC in that state.
I think I'm a politician, and you know my party is APC. And I have my candidates in my party. And I know that we are currently consulting and speaking to our people to vote for our candidates. So, and I'm concerned with what will come out of my campaign for my party. I don't want to join issues with Peter Obi, who you know is not a member of my party. But I know members of APC are obedient to APC.
Oh, so there are obedience also in APC?
I don't know what you mean. The meaning of obedient that means English. Loyalty to party is supreme. That's
the latest political slogan in Nigeria that have been brought into our political dictionary in Nigeria. But let me ask you, what would you be telling your members?
That is Shemu's dictionary. That is not my dictionary. In my own dictionary, what is there is APC.
It just crept into... It just crept into our political dictionary recently, obedient, perhaps coined out of Peter Obi's name. So give us an understanding of what you will be telling the people of Imo State. What would you say you have done to convince them to vote for your party in the next dispensation?
I'm very confident that the reasonable minds in Imo State will vote for my party. Let me start. By 2020, when I came here as the governor, 95% of our major roads were not passable. Today, the major economic roads in Imo State have been managed in a very first-class manner that even the opposition party members are commending my efforts. From 1999 to today, members of Imo State House of Assembly has no place they stay to sit. They are attached to one local secretariat here in Sowore. The Imo State House of Assembly building that was abandoned over 30-something years ago has just been rehabilitated, and a parliamentary environment created for our legislators. There is no member of the House of Assembly who will go into that place, come out, and tomorrow there is an election that will not want to vote for APC. For over 30 years, the Imo Standard Shoe, which was a major industry created by Mbako administration, was abandoned and seized by AMCON for bad loans. My government, within 2 years, have just recovered Imo Standard Shoe. And any moment from now, Imo Standard Shoe will be creating over 10,000 jobs. Recall that the Malaysians came to Nigeria to take a palm fruit seedlings to go back to Malaysia. That was the Eastern palm by the government of M.I. Opara. That palm has been abandoned for over 30 years. I've just recovered that palm, paid off the loans, gone to bank, memorandum of understanding with the Rouge of Dublin. Our farm is currently producing 100 tons of palm oil on daily basis. And if our performance improvement plan is implemented, Adapam will be creating over 35,000 jobs. Why will those people from there not vote for APC? Over 1,800 workers that were retrenched without pension. I have just paid their pension. That is 1,800 votes for APC. Owerri water scheme. All the residents in Owerri lived without water for over 18 years. Owerri water scheme is running now. Households in Owerri can now drink water. Why would they not vote for APC? If you come and drive from Owerri to Olu, Mr. President is due to commission these two major routes, two major economic routes that will stimulate commerce in Imo State and indeed the eastern region. Owerri to Olu is properly constructed and lit up. In fact, you can drive from Owerri to Olu with your eyes closed and you won't go into the bush. Owerri to Okigwe, the same thing. A few days ago, I flagged off for the construction of Owerri to Umuahia. These are federal rules that have been abandoned for decades. I did these rules with understanding that federal government will refund the money back to the state government. Why will those living in those areas not vote for APC? It is not talking, it's not blackmail.
Let me perhaps take you further. Let me take you further and perhaps ask you, you are spearheading the Bola Tinubu, Kashim Shettima presidential campaign in the Southeast. Now, there's been a lot of criticism and a lot of pressure on your party, especially on the issue of the same faith decision that your party made. How do you hope to market this brand, this presidential ticket, to the people of your region?
Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And in Nigeria, we are practicing partisan democracy, where every party is entitled to field candidates for every contest. APC has selected their candidates. And the next stage for the democratic requirements is to now market the candidates to the people. I'm not going to market the candidate only to show because we are broadcast. This is a business between me, my party, and the voters. So we are taking our candidate, which is our product. I coordinate him now in the Southeast. So I'm taking him to the people of Southeast. And it is my business to explain to them why he should be voted for. And I have things like...
So that's why we are asking, what exactly will you be telling your people? How do you market him? Considering some of what has become perhaps a tough chew,
from Imo State's point of view, just a few minutes ago, I just told you about some achievements we have recorded in Imo State. In the same manner, Shegu, before 2015, all we hear is that there will be a second Niger bridge that will connect commerce between Lagos and the East. Nobody paid any attention. Government after government made those promises and it never happened. Right from the days of Shagari in the Second Republic. The APC government under President Muhammad Buhari came. Second Niger Bridge is 95% complete and about to be commissioned by the Mr. President any moment from now. With a budget of 368 billion naira, 98% fully paid for by construction giant Julius Berger. Port Harcourt to Enugu Road, up to 2015, was not passable. Go there now, you see that all those traders from Aba, from Newi, from Okigwe that were crying during that period, they are now very happy because the road has been done. The same thing from Onitsha to Enugu. The same thing from Onitsha to Owerri. So we have things to show. It is not about propaganda. It is not about social media. It is not a social club. We're talking of democracy. And leadership is a serious business. The President Muhammad Buhari administration, with its achievements, that has refused to go into propaganda like all the opposition parties because of the patriotic determination of Mr. President. He has been able to decentralize development in Nigeria. That today, if you talk about Southeast, you have things to show for it. If you talk about Southwest, you have things to show for it. Anybody who does not like APC government in Southwest, and yet every morning you enter train in Lagos and go to Ibadan, and you enter train in Abuja, you go to Kaduna, and you come and see that the Eastern Rail Line is being rehabilitated from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. with all the federal road networks under serious construction, some already completed. What are we talking about?
No.
So let's
totally
get to the campaign
time.
field.
But let me, please, we need to close this conversation, and I'd like to ask you this just in about 5 seconds, if you can answer this. Since you're spearheading the APC campaign in the Southeast, out of the 5 states, how many of those states can you deliver to your party?
Well, you see, it is not a predetermined arrangement. I'm confident that APC has done so well to the extent that they can win all the states in Nigeria. But we still need to engage the people. And campaigns will soon start by September, and we'll have to go and market our products. By the time we finish the marketing, then we'll carry out an opinion poll that will tell us or give us an idea of how many states that will win proper. Because we're talking about human beings. And in this business, one day can change a lot of things. Don't forget, it's democracy.
All right. Thank you so much. Governor Hope Uzodinma, Executive Governor of Imo State, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.